So today is a week ago that we lost our brother George Floyd, and Tuesday today is chosen as a day to push the Black Lives Matters, and everybody else in the world is using the black images and the black pictures and to remember. It's actually customary because in our Kan tradition, and whenever anybody dies, or I think most tribes in Ghana, whenever anybody dies, the week after the death of the person, the family gather to make some announcements on when the funeral is going to be, and family members come together to support and show their support to the family, the bereaved family. So when I saw this Black Lives Matter going viral, everybody putting up black images, it just immediately synced to me and made I remembered how we have what we call the 1 week celebration in Dawatri. That's the Akan word, 1 week celebration in Dawatri, where we it's not, you see, I want to talk about this, but I don't want to milk it in the sense that we're all talking about it already, but I don't want it to just remain putting up black images just for a day. Henceforth, you should be hungry to know who you are. You should be hungry to understand the fact that there's another person that wish you wouldn't be here. So you need to trace who this person is, which of course we all know, and we need to understand the level to which this person is willing to go to see the extermination of the black man. So I only pray that this don't become just a single day thing, but for the rest of our lives moving forward, we would always remember that we are black first before everything else. Aquaba. I'm excited finally. Man, it's been a minute. It's been a couple of days. I think I missed Thursday, I missed Friday, I missed yesterday. But I'm back, and I'm back to stay. And we are going to work from today. We have a lot of things to learn, a lot of things to uncover, a lot of things to reverse, and a lot of truths to uncover, and a lot of lies to flash down the drain. So get ready, buckle up. We're about to go deeper. We're about to go deeper than we've ever been. I think I didn't shout out those that gave our previous comments, so let me just do that. I want to go quickly to our last video. I think our sister Annette Yelson said bless you too, sister Annette, bless you. You the greatest, may Yahweh bless you all as well. Yes, Annette, bless you. That's from our elder Malakia. We have Maria Peter said, yes, brother, on point. Gotta put the milk down. It's high in calories and contain tons of saturated fat, which leads to the killer heart disease. Besides, why are we grown folks still drinking milk after babyhood? Not even animals do that. Shaking my head. A cow's milk too just grows. So not even animals drink milk. And Malakia said, thank you for your comment. You are appreciated on behalf. Yes. Yeah, bless you, sister Maria. Emia said, thank you, Emia. Thomas Duku said, Very, very good, brother. You forgot soda, cola, Coca-Cola, Fanta, etc., and alcohol. I mean, these are the things that are killing us. We are every single one of us is remembering the fact that our brother was shot dead, but we are killing ourselves every day, and nobody is reminding us of that. Nobody, because these are the real weapons they are using to kill us, but nobody's really talking about us. So I said, yes, spot on, brother. You could come online with me. Yes, brother Thomas, you're always welcome. Billy said, love it. Nzambu said, if it white, it ain't right. Yes. My brother said, if it white, it ain't right. Sure thing, yeah, with family. So these are the comments on the health video, Health Wednesday, and I posted a video last Sunday, as a matter of fact. It says, hello brother, blessings to you all. Malaki says, thank everyone for their response, questions and suggestions. You are the one who make this possible. Yes, indeed, you are the one who makes this possible, and I appreciate you so much. You are the reason why we are here. Tune in tonight on Zoom. So, I mean, we had our Zoom. It was amazing. The Zoom conversation was amazing. Well done. Greetings from Sister Annette. That's right, brother, from Joanna. And I'm excited to come your way today. It's been a minute, but we are here. I want to continue on the subject Amin Ra, and I want us to break it down, or I want us to understand the fact that Amin Ra is not something new or something introduced by Christianity or by the Jewish or by the Islam, or any other these religions. I want to also show you that Amin has always been with us as a people, and I keep going back to the fact that our people, I can speak for the Akans, but I know a lot of African tribes were in Egypt. Not just West Africa, but I can speak of West Africa because I am based in West Africa, and this is the history I grew up on. The history of our fathers are deeply rooted in Egypt. The history of our fathers are deeply rooted in Egypt. When a group of people is speaking a particular language that has become a world sensation today, I think it's only profitable that we look into this language, we look into these people, we look into the history of these people, and we try and find out how they are connected to the supposedly the Egyptian civilization that existed prior to whatever else civilization out there. And the idea of the fact that the Egyptian civilization is trying to be white, like they are trying so hard to whiten out our history. They're trying so hard to paint themselves to our history. I showed it in one of the videos that I did. The fact that I think Egypt before West Africa, the fact that they are telling stories that it was their ancestry that lived in Egypt. If it's their ancestry that lived in Egypt, then they should be speaking the language of Egypt. At least we should have something in their language that suggests that, in fact, they lived in Egypt. I mean, this is all made up anyway. But we know without a doubt that our African tribes are the same people that were living in Egypt in those days. That is why you have a lot of African tribes coming up with languages that resound some of the terminologies that was used in Egypt to explain or express themselves in the spiritual curriculum and the secular realms as well. So I want to concentrate on my people, the Akan people. And that being said, I'm not putting down any other tribe. I'm only showing you of the fact that our people were the ancient ones in Egypt, and they spoke the same languages that were used in Egypt. Okay, almost all African tribes have ancient languages, have languages that has always been in existence since the population of man on the face of the earth. So therefore, We that speak the original language cannot be copying from another people or another race. It simply means that we that have the original language are the ones that goes back and start history. What it also means is that the language of Egypt is not lost. I know Egyptologists are going on the walls of Egypt and they are picking up the haligraphs, and they're picking up the haligraphs, and they are making a language out of what they are seeing. But one of the things we need to understand really is the fact that the Greeks influenced most of the modernized haligraphs that are on the walls of Egypt. So if you are looking at that to find the language of the people, then you would never find it. Besides, if you want to know the language of the people, you don't go to the palace or the temple. You go to the streets. You will know the language of the people, because when you come into, let's say, Ghana, when you go to the parliament and the castles and all the government buildings, they all speak English in those buildings. So when you are trying to find the language of Ghana and you go to the castles and they narrate the story of slavery and what have you, or of Ghana, or anything that is related to the formation of this modern day Ghana country, and you go through the books and you go through the libraries, the language you're going to find there is the English language. It doesn't mean the English language is the official language of the people. The official language of the people would always be found in their names, in their weddings, in their customs. It's always there. Then we have the accepted language used officially. So we have the language of the people and we have the official language. The language of the people can never go extinct. No people on the face of the earth can have a language and watch the language go extinct, because there's always going to be a descendant that will still speak that language of the original people. So inasmuch as English is the official language of Ghana now, I mean, that is even crazy. How can we be in Africa and then another person's language become our official language? That is actually ridiculous in a sense. Our official language should not be English. Our official language should be Akan, or the dominant tribe of the country. Because when I don't know about other nations, but when you come to Ghana, the dominant language is the Akan language. So that should be the official language of the country, not another person's language that came from somewhere. You understand? And not just Ghana, but all Africans should rise up and start using our dialect, our languages as the official languages. Signboards should be written in our languages. Billboards should be made in our languages. Computer, key parts and all of these things should be done in our language. That is being prideful of who you are. You cannot say, I am waking up for the lies, but yet everything you speak, everything you teach is another person's. It's ridiculous when you think about it. It's absolutely ridiculous. So just as people spend money, spend hours to go to schools to learn Hebrew, to learn Greek, to learn French, which is a total waste of time, which has nothing to do with your people, people should rather spend money to learn Zulu, to learn Akan, to learn Ewe, to learn Ga, to learn Yoruba, to learn this country, to learn the Bantu language, to learn all these languages. Because these are languages that connect to your people. So long as we keep learning languages of other people, it would never be a clear-cut picture. We would always be in the shadows. I mean, I'm talking to you and I have to speak English because majority of us across the face of the earth do not speak our languages. Imagine if I'm speaking and I'm speaking in our language. Imagine the things that we can say, the quotes that we can put out, the things that we can let out, and people would not understand what we are saying because we're speaking our language. You understand? Because even in Ghana, I don't care how they try to learn, we can still put codes and secrets in our language that they would never get. Because when I go to certain places in Ghana, I still can't understand the Akan language everybody speaks. You understand? It's the same Akan language, but it's deep. It's deep. So deep that even you the person that speaks Akan has to be translated for you, and it's the same Akan language. So it's ridiculous for us to say we are coming out of a lie, but yet we are using the same language of that lie. We will never come out. So why I'm bringing up this is because when we go back to the stories of our fathers and our ancient ones, you realize that our fathers has always had a relationship with Amen. Our fathers, so this whole Amen concept is not a new thing to our fathers. And if our fathers has always had a relationship in Amen, and our fathers has always honored Amen, then it means that our fathers, our root, our story goes back all the way from the beginning. Meaning, it was our stories that was used in the civilization of Egypt. It was our people, our fathers, our tribes that became Egypt. What does it mean for Amen to become the name for the Saturday God? It simply means is that the Akan believe in the 7 major gods of the universe. The 7 major gods. And these 7 major gods are the God responsible for the 7 days of the week. And I've explained it in other previous videos that these 7 days of the week are actually gates into this existence, into this realm. So every person on the face of the earth is got to come to one of these gates on the face of this realm. Every single person on the face of the earth. So these gates are these gods, and Amen happen to be one of these gods. And Amen is the Saturday god. So Amen is considered as the king of all the gods. Amen is the direct representative of the Creator himself. So we have the Sunday God who is Esi. We have the Monday God who is Ajo. We have the Tuesday God who is Abene. We have the Wednesday God who is Auku. We have the Thursday God who is Yao. We have the Friday God who is Efi. And we have the Saturday God who is Amen. So in our community page, on our WhatsApp community page, somebody asked the question, now Satan, devil, can we break on it? And I'm going to touch on it later. But Satan is considered to be the Wednesday God. Oh, I said something that somebody will go, oh, what? Satan is this is a Wednesday God. Satan is not the devil. Satan is not the enemy of humanity. Satan is not the father of all evil. He's a Wednesday God. Yeah, Satan, what they've deemed as Satan is actually the Wednesday God, and he's just like one of the gods, one of the sons of the Creator. Just as Yahweh is the Thursday God, Yah. So what they did was that they only ran with the Thursday God, Yah. Because that's what they met, that's what they knew. That's the relationship they had in. The question of whether Moses served the Wednesday, the Thursday God or the Saturday God is also another subject that I'm going to come into. So we the Akans call the Saturday Meminda. Meminida. I tell you, some say Meminda and others say Meminida. Amenida. Ameninida. 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 Amen. Nida. Amen's day. Ameninida. Amen's day. Then they shorten it to be Meminida or Meminda, which is a Saturday, but it's actually Amen's day. So the question now becomes, how did our fathers not have this intelligence to give Amen the Saturday? The Saturday which is revered as the Sabbath, the 7th day of the week, the day of perfection. Why is Amen? Because Amen is the perfect God, and Amen is the direct representative of the Creator himself. That is why Saturday became the day of rest. That is why Saturday became the Sabbath. Because the meaning of Mejima Home, Mejima Home, it means I'm taking my rest. So when our fathers named the Saturday Mimini, our fathers was literally say Saturday is the day of rest. Miminida, Amenida, Abdaya Didi Home. You understand? One of the things that really portray the existence of a particular god in a community or in a family was the names that the people carried around, the names that the people had wherever they went to. So the name Amen was given to some people. First and foremost, when you are born on Saturday, you carry Kwa Amen. Kwa Amen. Kwa Amen or Kwa Amena. Kwa Amen. Amena ma Amen. Kwa Amen. Amen has given. Amenama. Kwa Amen. Amen has given. So the Saturday Amen was not just, the name was not just given to the Saturday borns, but also it was a sort of used in phrases that express people's appreciation towards Amen, that express people's deepest gratitude towards Amen, or people expressing the fact that if it wasn't for Amen, this wouldn't have happened. So for example, you give birth to your child, and maybe when you was pregnant or the point of delivery, you almost died, right? So the day that you were born, you sort of praise that day and say, if it wasn't for the day that I was born, if it wasn't for this, if it wasn't for this God, if it wasn't for this ability, I wouldn't have made it in life. So names, we are named according to what the power, the God that governs your life did for you. So in our traditions, we just don't give names. We give names as symbolic tools, and names alone are data coding. Names are data coding in every Akan tribe, because one simple name can mean a whole sentence, or one simple name can tell a whole generational story. I'm breaking it down because I need you to understand what I'm going to say. Okay, so with Amen, we have names like Accept Amen. Accept Amen. Accept Amen. So accept Amen in Chi or in Akan or in Fanti, we will say J Amen. J Amen. J Amen. J Amen. Ja Amen. J Amen. So J Amen. So out of the J Amen, we got a name like Jamin. Jamin. So we have people who are called Jamin, which is Gyamen. So it's the J G G Y E Amen Amen that they bring together to form the name J Amen. So Jamin. So we have names like Jamin, which simply means J Amen. The question is, if our fathers did not know or have relationship with Amen, how on earth were they given praise like Accept Amen? Accept Amen. Or even J Amen. The longest version of the name J Amen is Jaminra. Jamira. Jaminra. J Amen Ra. J Amen Ra. So when we put together, we have the name Jamira. When we put J Amen Ra, Accept Amen Ra, when we put the name together, we have names like Jamira. It is the same thing that we have in our symbol called J Yame. J Yame. So J Yame is actually J Amen. Are you get what I'm saying? Which J Amen or J Amen is one of the most powerful symbols in the hieroglyphs of the Akan people. So what we call the Edinkra symbol, that is our hieroglyphs or the original hieroglyphs, not the ones that is made up. Okay? How does a group of people who have no association with Egypt carry the same technology, the same culture, the same system as it was in Egypt. How is that possible? And they had no connection at all. How did they do that? So when we say Jamira, what it simply means like J Amen Ra. J Amen Ra, except Amen Ra. So our fathers have always had the knowledge of who Amen is and has always reverenced Amen. That is why I say all the time, every religion out there adapted whatever they know from the history of our fathers. Every single religion out there. So we have names like Amen Ama, Amen Ama, or Amen Ama. Ama means gift. Amen is the God, or the God of the heavens, or the King of the gods, or the Lord of the lords. Okay, so we have names like Amen Ama, which simply means Amen's gift. Amen's gift. Amen Ama. So Amen has given this gift, Ama. And that's why we have the short form of this gift, of this name, Ama, called Ama. The original name is Amen Ama, Amen's gift. Amen Ama. For the female Saturday born, Amen Ama, Amen's gift. So our fathers had names like that. We can also find this name, Amwatin. Amwatin is a combination of Amen and Aten. Aten, which simply means judgment. So we have a name like Amu Aten. Amu Aten. Amen's Aten. Amen's judgment. So these were the naming systems that our fathers had. And our fathers always reverence Amen and says, that's why I said the power of the most powerful symbol of our hieroglyphs is what? J Amen. That's what we call J Amen. J Amen. J Yamen. Amen. Yamen. Me. So the Yamen is actually originally coming from the word Amen. We have another one was Amu or Amu Akon. So Amen was also referred Amun or Amun. So it's the same thing. So we have a name like Amu Akon. Akon means to fight. Amen. Amun is just Amen. So Amen fights for me. Amu Akon. We have the name Amu Akon means Amen fights for me. Amen fights for me. Amen is constantly fighting on my behalf. Amen is constantly interceding on my behalf. Amen is constantly fighting for his people. Amuakon. So when you hear somebody with the name Amuakon, the person is simply saying in a statement that I know Amen fights for me. These names have always been with us, meaning the history and the synchronage of Amen has always been with us. It's not new. So somebody will ask that if indeed Amun or Amen is a god of the king of the gods, or he is the most high in scripture, like most high of our fathers, and our fathers really reverence Amen Ra or Amun-Re or Amen Ra as the highest of all the gods, then why does it say in the scriptures that he would punish Amen? Now, why does it say in the scriptures that God would punish Amen? Why? Let's read it. Let's read it together. Don't take my word for it. That is why you got to be careful of the stories they've told us to the scriptures, because they are always twisting and turning. So if you don't take care, or if you don't pay attention to the story you're reading, you would always get it misrepresented. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's go to Jeremiah 46:1. It says, the word of the Lord which came to Jeremiah the prophet against the Gentiles, against Egypt, against the army of Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, which was by the river Euphrates in, goes on and on and on. So why are you saying that Amen, which the God of Israel was against and said he would punish Egypt, or he will punish Ammon. You need to understand that when it's saying I will punish Egypt, it has nothing to do with Amun-Ra. So then we will go back to the question, which Lord is saying I will punish Egypt? Well, if Amun-Ra was the god of Egypt, why would another god say I would punish Egypt? How does another god leave a territory and go and punish a people of a different territory? How does that happen? How does the American president come and punish a Ghanaian citizen and say the Ghanaian citizen did that and that and that and that in Ghana, so I'm coming down to Ghana to punish the Ghanaian citizen? It doesn't work that way. So let's jump to 25 to 26. It says, the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, said, behold, I would punish the multitude of Nun. So the God of hosts, the God of Israel, says, I'll punish the multitude of Nun, which the Nun here means Ammon, thief. So this is where people are getting the concept. The God of Israel said he will punish Amun-Ra. And Pharaoh and Egypt with their gods, and their kings, even Pharaoh, and all them that trust in him. So let's analyze this. Let me add the 26. And I will deliver them into the hand of those that seek their lives, and into the hands of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, into the hand of his servant. Afterwards it shall be inhabited as the days of old, saith. So what is this really saying? What's this really saying? From 24 he said, the daughter of Egypt shall be confounded, she shall be delivered into the hand of the people of the north. The Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, said, behold, I would punish the multitude of Nun. The Nun means I'll punish the multitude of Ammon. So why is the God of Israel punishing Ammon? And Pharaoh and Egypt, and with their gods and their kings, even Pharaoh and all them that trust in him. All them that trust in who exactly are we talking about? Let's look at. So why would the God of Israel be punishing the people of Ammon or the people of Egypt? What is the connection? Is he not supposed to be just a God of Israel? Why is he so busy trying to punish the people of Egypt or the people of Ammon, the God? So obviously it is showing you that Ammon is a God on his own, right? So is the God of Israel really punishing Ammon? So people, you say Ammon, 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 Ammon. The God of Israel says, I'll punish Ammon. That makes the God of Israel higher of ranks than Ammon. What can you say, brother? No worries. Let's go to Ezekiel 30:14. Ezekiel 30:14. Ezekiel 30:14 says, he made also posts of 3 score cubits. Sorry, I'm reading 40. Ezekiel 30:14. It says, and I will make Patros dissolute, and I'll send fire in Zoan, and would execute judgment in Nu. The Nu means Ammon. And I'll execute judgment in Nu. The Nu here means Ammon. And I'll execute judgment in Ammon. Why is the God of Israel trying to execute judgment in Ammon? I will pour my fury upon sin and the strength. I'll pour my fury upon sin, the strength of Egypt, and I'll cut off the multitude of Nun. And I will set fire in Egypt. Sin shall have great pain, and Nu shall be rent asunder, and Noph shall have distress daily. And the young women of Avon and of So it continues. Why or what is the God of Israel's deal with Egypt? It goes on to say, the young men of Abed, 80 says, and also the day shall be darkened when I shall break there the yoke of Egypt, and pomp of the strength shall be seized in her. For her a cloud shall cover her, and the daughter shall go down into captivity. So the daughters of Egypt shall go down into captivity. Thus would I execute judgments in Egypt, and they shall know that I am the Lord. So I am the Lord. The Lord here is not saying which Lord he is going against, right? Thus I would execute judgment in Egypt, and they shall know that I am the Lord. And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the first moon, in the 7th day of the moon, that the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, I have broken the arm of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and lo, it shall be bound up to be healed, and put a roller to bind, to be healed, to put a roller to bind it, to make it strong, to hold the sword. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I am against the Pharaoh of Egypt, and I will break his arm, the strong, and that which was broken, and I will cause the sword to fall out of his hands, and I will scatter Egyptians among the nations, and I will disperse them through the countries. And I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations, and I will disperse them through the country. And I will straighten the arms of the king of Babylon, and put my sword in his hands, and I will break Pharaoh's arm, and he shall groan before him with groanings of a daily wounded man. But I will strengthen the arms of the king of Babylon, and the arms of Pharaoh shall fall down. They shall know that I am the Lord when I shall put my sword in the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall stretch it out upon the land of Egypt. And I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations, and disperse them among the countries, and they shall know that I am Yah. So why is the God of Israel so busy trying to deal with Egypt and punish Egypt for what? Why is he and these are the things that nobody talks about. That he says what? He will scatter the descendants he will scatter the people of Egypt. He will scatter. Why is this God of Israel, who has nothing to do with Egypt, who has moved his people out of Egypt and taken them wherever they need to go, coming back to say, I will scatter Egypt? Why? Why is he thinking of scattering Egypt? Don't forget the story I told you, that the people left Egypt because Akhenaten wanted all of them to worship Amen, and they said no, they would go back to worshiping their gods. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to bring my people to settle in Amen-Ra, the settlement that was in Brunga, half of Ghana, the first settlement, and the other part of West African place. Then I would cause what? The hand of Babylon to come upon Egypt and destroy, and I will scatter the people of Egypt across the nations, across the many nations. So where are the descendants of Egypt now? The descendants of Egypt are scattered across the nations. Yet nobody talks about it. Is it not the same concept that is in Deuteronomy 28, saying, I will scatter you amongst the nations? It's not the same concept. Wait. So he scattered the children of Israel, but he scattered the children of Egypt first among the nations. So when he is gathering, who is he gathering? Oh, no, you gathering all wrong. This has nothing to do with the people of Egypt. Don't get too excited. Because already we are getting, even the Bible is telling us, the God of Israel is the one that scattered the people of Egypt. Why did the God of Israel not scatter the Babylonians? Why did the God of Israel not scatter the Greeks? Why did the God of Israel not scatter the Persians? Why is he so keen on Egypt and so keen on everything that Egypt is doing? Why is he mindful of the things that Egypt are doing? Let's go to Nahum. The prophet Nahum. Let's go to Nahum 3:8. What does it say? Art thou better than the populace? No. Let's go to Nahum 3 verses 8. Art thou better than populace? No. Let me read the latest version. Because when you read that thou, people are not really getting it. So Nahum 3:8 says, are you better than Nu, Ammon, that was sighted by the river, that had the waters around her, whose rampart was the sea, whose walls was the sea? Ethiopia and Egypt were her strength, and it was boundless. Put and Lubim were your helpers, yet she was carried away, she was sent into captivity. Her young children also were dashed to pieces at the head of every street, and they cast laws for the honorable men. Is this not sounding like Deuteronomy 28? Is this not sounding like Deuteronomy 28? She went into captivity. Her young children also were dashed to pieces at the head of every street. They cast laws for her honorable men, and all her great men were bounded in chains. You would also be drunk, you would be hidden, you would also seek refuge from your enemies. How does the story of Egypt, don't forget, the reason why the God of Israel allowed his children to be scattered is because they disobeyed. The reason why Akhenaten or Akhenaten left Egypt, Exodus Egypt with Moses, was because the people were refusing and didn't like the idea of the one God system. So the people of the land disobeyed. So the people came out, the rest was invaded. The rest was invaded by these Babylonians and these other empires. Because of sin, Egypt was dispersed. Where was the descendant of Egypt scattered to? So before this whole story of Israel being a nation that is dispersed, Egypt was already a nation that was punished for the disobedience to the worship of Amen-Ra. Okay, let me say it for you to be comfortable. For the worship of the God of Israel, yeah. Wait, Egypt worshiped the God of Israel. Didn't Egypt worship Amen-Ra? Oh, I'm confused now. Is Amen-Ra the same as the God of Israel? Oh boy. Oh boy. Where are we going? Chill. Relax. Don't stress. Listen, I love you. I'm not here to stress you. My question is, if the God of Israel had nothing to do with the God Amen, or why was he so concerned about what the Egyptians were doing? Why was he so concerned about the lifestyle of the Egyptians? Why did he care so much about the Egyptians? Why was he upset that the Egyptians were not worshiping Amen-Ra anymore? Because Amen-Ra is the God of Egypt. You are the God of Israel. Why are you so concerned about Egypt? What has Egypt done? Why are you mindful of Egypt? Why? Let's go to Isaiah 18. Let's go to Isaiah 19. It says, the burden against Egypt, behold, the Lord rides on a swift cloud. So which Lord is that? Why is Isaiah giving a prophecy about Egypt? This is after Egypt had, this is after the Exodus. According to this, not me, according to the same Bible. This is after Exodus. So after Exodus, why is the God of Israel still speaking to Isaiah? Because that's what we think, right? Why would the God of Israel still be speaking to Isaiah and telling Isaiah about Egypt? If you have moved your children out of Egypt, why are you still worried about Egypt? Why are you still concerned about what happens in Egypt? What is there about Egypt that you don't want to let go? Which God is this? Who are you? What are you, for the Israelites or are you for the Egyptians? Make your mind. Are you the same God of Egypt that has become the God of Israel? Let us know. Right? Let's read it. It said, behold, this message come to me concerning Egypt. Lord, look, the Lord is advancing against Egypt, riding on a swift cloud. The idols of Egypt tremble. The heart of the Egyptians melt with fear. Why are the hearts of the Egyptians melted with fear? I'll make Egyptians fight against Egyptians, brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, province against province. Is this not what Jesus said? What, I'm coming and you think I came for peace? I didn't come for peace. I came to turn a brother against the brother, mother against the daughter, father against the son. I came to turn nation against. Is this not it? This is supposedly before Jesus. So if this is supposed to be happening in Egypt, why is Jesus using this? Listen, they're playing with you. They copy a story that already is in existence and they project it to be another story. So when you're reading this, you're so caught up with this one story, you're not looking at the other side of where the original story is coming from. They're messing with you. Let me continue. It says, the Egyptians will lose heart and I'll confuse their plans. They would plead with their idols for wisdom and call on spirit mediums and those who consult the spirit of the dead. I would hand Egypt over to a hard and cruel master. Why is he so... I don't know how to move away from this question. Why is he so concerned with what Egypt does if this was not the same God that Akhenaten was trying to nationalize him, and the people said, no, we don't want to have just one God. We want to have anything. Is this not the same God that Pharaoh was praising? Is this not the same God the Pharaoh Akhenaten or Akhenaten was exalting? Is it not the same God, Amen, that Akhenaten, the Pharaoh, wanted to be the national God of Egypt? Why has he moved so many years and still coming back and still talking about the affairs of Egypt? Sorry. Let me continue. And it's not like I'm trying to use the Bible to justify or affirm the story. No. It's the other way around. I'm showing you that even in the Bible, the God of Israel couldn't walk away from Egypt. And there's a reason why he couldn't walk away from Egypt. Because Egypt, Amen, is the same God that's projected to be the God of Israel. The same. And they don't want to say the name, saying, oh, if we say the name, we would perish. If we say, no, the reason why they don't want to say, that is why every Jew don't say the name of this God, but say Hashem, which when you take the H from Hashem, it will become Asem. Asem means the word, right? They use Hashem to refer to this God, which the original word is Asem, and Asem is Nakan word, which means the word. The same ideology that they used in John, and says what the word became flesh. The word Asem no bedani nipa Asem. The same word. So the people fail to say the name, because the minute they say the name of this God, the minute they say the name of this God, the rest of the world is going to know the story, so they cannot say the name. So yet the name Yahweh is projected. Even the name Yahweh is not really, they just went by the tetragrammaton and then they made up stuff, right? But they ran it off with the name Yah, which is just one of the gods. The only reason why a God will be upset with the people is because the people failed to do right with that particular God. So this God take a people out, settle them in Amonwi, in the Bronga half a region of Ghana, and then come back and say, you know what I'm going to do with you. Ha. Ha. Let me read on. Don't take my word for it. I'll hand Egypt over, says the Lord of heaven's army. I told you, Amen is the God of the heavens. So anytime you see the Lord of heaven's army, he's just saying Amen, right? The waters of Nile would fail to rise and flood the fields. The riverbeds will be parched and dry. The canals of Nile will dry up, and the streams of Egypt will stink with rotten reeds and rushes. All the greenery along the riverbank and all the crops along the rivers will dry up and blow away. So this is trying to explain how, anyway, let me continue. The fishermen will lament for lack of work. Those who cast hooks into the Nile will groan, and those who use nets will lose heart. There will be no flax for the harvester, nor thread for the weavers. They will be in despair, and all the workers will be sick at heart. What fools are the officials of Zoan? Zoan, Zion, Zoan, Sion, Zion, Zion. Let me go on. Their best counsel of the king of Egypt is stupid and wrong. Why is the king of Egypt's counselors advising him stupidly? What kind of advice is the counselors giving him that is wrong? What right advice was supposed to be given to the kings of Egypt? Meaning the struggle of them giving reverence to all these other gods that they made up, to the worship of this one God that Akhenaten was trying to establish. So now we say that the pharaohs are being advised wrongly. The same advice that brought the rout in Egypt. Would they still boast to Pharaoh of their wisdom? Would they dare brag about all their wise ancestors? Where are your wise counselors, Pharaoh? Let them tell you the plan of God. Which God? Which God is speaking now? Is it a God of Egypt? Why is the pharaohs, the priest of Egypt, the priest of the pharaohs, trying to tell the council of the God of another nation, another Israel? Because this revelation was given by Amen to Isaiah the prophet. Amen, the same God that is portrayed to be the God of Israel. The officials of Zoan are fools. The officials of Memphis are deluded. The leaders of the people have laid Egypt astray. The Lord has sent a spirit of foolishness on them. Why is the God of Israel sending a spirit of foolishness onto Egypt? What has he got to do with Egypt that he's saying foolish counsel unto Egypt? Why? Because the same Amen-Ra is what they adopted and made the God of Israel. Man. The God of Israel has sent a spirit of foolishness. Don't forget when the God of Israel sent a spirit of lies to prophesy against Ahab. The same God using the same tactics both against Ahab and against Egypt. And all their suggestions are wrong. They cause Egypt to stagger like a drunk in his vomit. There's nothing Egypt can do. All are helpless. The head and the tail, the noble palm branch, and the lowly reed. In that day, Egypt would be as weak as a woman. They would cower in fear beneath the upraised face of the Lord of Heaven's army. Just to speak the name of Israel would terrorize them, for the Lord of Heaven's army has laid out his plans against them. Remember, I told you in one of the videos that the reason why Egypt lost to these invaders is because they lost their spirituality. Is that not the same thing we are reading in Isaiah now? In that day, 5 Egyptian cities would follow the Lord of Heaven's army. They would even begin to speak. They will even begin to speak the language of Canaan. The language of Canaan would be sought after. What was the language of Canaan? Ka, nan, ka, ni, ka, for, ka, nan, akan, for, akan, ni. 5 Egyptians. Remember, I told you one of the videos I did that it was prophesied in Egypt that the entire state was going to speak the Chi language. We are reading this in Isaiah as well. They will speak the language of Canaan and swear by the God of hosts. One will be called the city of destruction. So now they will be calling on the God of hosts and they will swear. They will speak the language of Canaan. That is the same language that is so-called made up to call the language of Hebrew. There's not a single thing called language of Hebrew in history. It doesn't exist. It was the language of Canaan. The Canaanites spoke a particular language. The word is Kani, Canaan, Canaan, Akan. It's the same word. Okay, so they would all come back and speak the original language, the language of Canaan. So the so-called claimed Hebrew language was adapted out of Canaan. It was the language of Canaan that they've gone to. So when you go back into history and find the people dwelling in Canaan, remember there was nothing like a C-A. It was a K-A. Kani, Kanfor. They adapted this language and hybrid it into what we call Hebrew now. Let me continue. Anyway, in that day, so yeah, that's another thing that I was so, and swear by the host of one would be called the city of destruction. The actual word is they will be called the city of the sun. The city of the sun, not the city of the scratch. The King James said the city of the sun. He said, and the place will be called the city of the sun. The city of the sun. Ra, Amen, Ra. So it's the same God speaking here. And he said the name of the city will be called the city of the sun. Why is the God of Israel trying so hard to get a people that he has nothing to do with? And at the end of the day, he said this place will be called the city of the sun. Why? Check your NLT. You see the city of the sun. Let me see if the other. Check your NIV. It will say the city of the sun. Check the Message. It will say the city of the sun. Check Holman's Bible. It will say the city of the sun. Only the King James is saying city of destruction. The New King James. Let me check the Old King James. Let me check the Old King James. It will also say the city of the sun. 18, where is it? Okay, King James, he said, but that destruction, they will be called the city of the sun. Mind you, I told you, the first settlers that came down from Egypt to settle in the Brong-Ahafo region of Ghana called them, named the place Amen-Ra, Amen-Ra, Amen-Sun, the city of Amen-Ra, Amen-Sun, the city of the sun. Isaiah is prophesying something that was fulfilled in Ghana and something that is supposed to be after the sun. So wait, is this the God of Israel here, or is the God Amen still portrayed as the God of Israel speaking to Isaiah? Man, the lies are too deep. In that day would there be altar unto the Lord in the heart of Egypt. So now they will build an altar to the Lord. Which Lord? Don't in the heart of Egypt? In the heart of Egypt? And there will be monument to the Lord at its borders. And it will be a sign and witness that the Lord of heaven's army is worshipped in the land of Egypt. The Lord of who? The same fight the Pharaoh. That is why when you go into history, you begin to know the truth and understand the truth and run away from these lies. When the people cried to the Lord for help against those who oppressed them, he will send a savior who would rescue them. Where is the savior that is rescuing them? 20 says that then the Lord will make himself known in the Egyptians. Yes, they will know that the Lord will give they will know the Lord and will give their sacrifices and offerings. So Egypt is going to give his sacrifices and offering to the Lord of Israel, to the God of Israel. See how they twisted it. And they will make a vow to the Lord and would keep it. They will make a vow to the God of Israel and they will keep it. And the Lord will strike Egypt and then he would bring healing. So he will strike them and he will heal them. Why is he healing? If the reason why he's upset about Egypt is just to destroy them, then why is he again bringing healing to them? Why? The Lord will strike Egypt and then will bring healing. For the Egyptians will turn to the Lord. Which Lord? Amen-Ra, the city of the sun. And he will listen to their pleas and heal them. In that day, Egypt and Assyria will be connected. By a highway. And the Egyptians and the Assyrians will move freely between their lands. And they will both worship God. Assyria is going to worship God. Which God? Amen. And Israel will be their ally. And Israel will be their ally. And Israel will be their ally. and the three will be together. Blessing will be a blessing to them, and the three will be together, and Israel will be a blessing to them. So the Israel is supposed to be the people who came out, will be a blessing to those who remain in Egypt. The people the original people who Exodus, not this made up one. The people who came out will be a blessing to those who stayed, those who were scattered. Remember, the scattering of Egypt were not for those who Exodus. It was for those who stayed. They were the ones that were scattered. So the one that Exodus, the one that left, are going to be a blessing to those that were scattered. Are you getting where all these stories are coming from? And I didn't even go to our history. I'm just using the same Bible to show you. For the Lord of heaven's army will say, blessed be Egypt, my people. Blessed be Egypt, my people. Blessed be Assyria, the land I have made. Blessed to Israel, my inheritance. Egypt are my people. The ones that came out are my inheritance, and Assyria is a land that I made for myself. Who is speaking here? Who is speaking here? I just want to know. I only want to know who is speaking here. We must not for certain that Amen-Ra was not seen as a pagan god or deity in ancient time. Even Jesus was given the title Amen in the Christian Bible. Jesus was given the title Amen in the Christian. So Amen Ra was not seen as a pagan deity as it is proclaimed to be or projected to be in our time. So all this Isaiah 19 that I'm reading is Amen Ra that is giving a revelation to Isaiah. But the people couldn't say, they say Hashem, Hashem. They can't say the name, because the minute they start saying the name, you would know who they are really in secret worshiping. Let's go to Revelations 13. Revelations 13. Where am I? Revelation 3, sorry. Again, I say it all the time. I only use the Bible because I want to help our brothers and sisters that are still stuck in Christianity and still stuck in their old ways. That is why I use the Bible. Other than that, I wouldn't use it. Revelation 3:14 says what? And the angel of the church of Laodicean, the angel of the church of Laodicean, writes these things. Say, Amen. Oh, total knockout. Poof. Cold. And the angel of the Laodiceans write. Say, so the angels knew Amen. It says, write these things. Say, Amen. The faithful and true witness. The beginning of the creation of God. Amen is the faithful and true witness. The beginning of the creation of the Creator. Ooh. Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I didn't know what I'm saying. Let me write. Write this letter to the church of the Laodicean. This is a message from the one who is the Amen. Read your NLT. This message is from the one. That's why I was telling you. Isaiah was given a vision by Amen Ra. This is supposed to be talk about Jesus. Read your NLT. Check NLT, NIV. It's there. Write this letter to the angel of the church in Laodicea, and this is the message from the one who is the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of God's new, the beginning of the Creator's creation. The one that is referred to as the Amen. Revelations, I didn't write Revelations, made up. See, in your very Christian Bible. So when I say Amen, don't frown your face and say, oh, he's calling a pagan God. The one that is supposed to be Jesus is referred to as the Amen. The Amen. The same Amen in Egypt. The same Amen that spoke to Moses. The same Amen that spoke to all the prophets. Mind you, the God of Israel is not the name. The God of Israel is just a title. The name of which this God, where is it? Where is the name of this God? Let's go to John, Revelation, the same Revelations. Same Revelation. I'm only using this to teach you. Please, don't come and ask me why am I still using it. You are the reason why I'm still using the Bible. You. Because you failed to wake up. I will use the Bible to you wake up. Then we'll throw it somewhere and continue with the history of our fathers. You are the reason why I still use the Bible. Let's go to Revelation 7. From 9 to 12. After this, I saw a vast crowd, too great to count, from every nation, tribe, and people and language, standing in front of the throne before the Lamb. Before the Lamb. They were clothed in white robes and held palm branches in their hands. And they were shouting with great roar. Remember the royal palm that Isaiah was talking about, the royal palm branch that Isaiah was talking about? This is also seen, according to some revelation, seen in heaven. And everybody was holding this royal palm branch. In Egypt, royal palm branch found in Egypt. Okay. And roar, saying, salvation comes from our God who sits on the throne from the Lamb and from the Lamb. And all the angels were standing around the throne, around the elders, and around the throne, and around the elders and the 4 living beings. They fell before the throne with their faces to the ground and worshiped God. They sang, Amen. Woo! All the powers, all the elders, all the ogoros, all the powers, all the powerful beings, the elders, the beasts, the 4 living creatures, they all bowed down their face and shouted, Amen. Amen. Bowed down their face and shouted, Amen. I am not making this up. How can I make this up? Why would I make it up? It says so. And sang, Amen. Blessing, glory, wisdom, thanksgiving, honor, and power and strength belong to our God forever and ever. Amen. If Amen is only a word that is said after a prayer to conceal or seal a prayer, why did they say Amen first? They shouted Amen first before they said glory, power, honor, riches, all that belongs to Amen. They said Amen first. So Amen is not sealing a prayer. Amen is the God of the heavens. Even your revelations in your New Testament is telling you. Everybody is bowing down to Amen. Every single person is bowing down to Amen. Let's see other places that Amen was also worshipped. My time is up. Let me let you go. Nehemiah or Nehemiah. Let's go to Nehemiah. Nehemiah. Let's go to Nehemiah 5:13. Let's go. Nehemiah 5:13. It says what? I shook out the folds of my robe and said, if you fail to keep your promise, may God shake you. Am I reading the right place? Yes. May God shake you like this from your homes and from your properties. The whole assembly responded, Amen. They praised the Lord. Are you seeing? The whole assembly shouted, Amen. And they praised the Lord. Which Lord are they praising right now? And the people did as they had promised. They shouted, Amen, and praised the Lord. They praised the Lord, Amen. They shouted, Amen, and praised the Lord. Let's go to let's go to Numbers. Numbers 5:20-22. So this was the prophet Nehemiah worshiping Amen with the people. Numbers 5:20-22. But if you have gone astray by being unfaithful to your husband and have defiled yourself by having sex with other men, at this point the priest must put the women under oath by saying, may the people know the Lord's curse is upon you when he makes you infertile, causing your womb to shrivel and your abdomen to swell. Now may this water that brings the curse onto your body and cause your abdomen to swell and your womb to shrivel, and the women will be. And may this water that causes the curse to go into your stomach and make your belly swell and your thigh rot, then the women shall say Amen. So after the curse, they invoke the name of the God. Amen. Amen is not so be it. Don't get deceived. We have gone Genesis to Revelation. Amen is said all over. And it doesn't mean so be it. It's the name of the God of the heavens, the one they all worship. Amen. 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 Let's go to Jeremiah 11, 1-5. Jeremiah 11, 1-5. Jeremiah 11, 1-5. And Lord gave another message to Jeremiah. He said, remind the people of Judah and Jerusalem about the terms of my covenant. And the Lord is talking to Jeremiah. Covenant with them. Say to them, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel says. Cursed is anyone who does not obey the terms of my covenant. For I've said to your ancestors, when I brought them out of the iron smelting furnace of Egypt, if you obey me and do whatever I command you, then you would be my people and I'll be your God. And I say this so I could keep my promise to your ancestors to give you a land flowing with milk and honey, the land you are living in today. Then I reply, Amen. Jeremiah said, Amen. Amen. The name of the Lord that was speaking to Jeremiah was invoked. And Amen. Amen. Jeremiah said, Amen. And the translators will put Amen, Lord. The translators will put so be it to make you think that is Amen means so be it. No, Jeremiah was invoking Amen. Amen. Invoking the name of the God that was speaking to Jeremiah. Jeremiah 28, 5-6. Then I'll let you go. Jeremiah 28, 5-6. I just wanted to finish with Amen today. But from the spiritual realm, on Spirit Fridays, I'll still be talking about Amen. But on Gods of the Bible, I'm ending Amen today with Jeremiah 25, 5-6. Jeremiah 28, 5-6. If you have any questions, if you can leave it in the YouTube session or you can bring it to the WhatsApp community. Jeremiah 28, 5-6. It says so. Jeremiah responded, Hananiah, as they stood in front of all the priests and people at the temple, he said, Amen. So he said, Amen. It didn't come from, how can Amen be the end of prayer? And the first statement Jeremiah will say, Amen. It only means the end of prayer. So why is he saying, and he said, Amen. May your prophecies come true. Amen. May your prophecies. So, Amen. May the prophetic word that you said, the New King James says, and the prophet Jeremiah spoke to the prophet Hananiah in the presence of the priest and the presence of all the people who stood in the house of the Lord. And prophet Jeremiah said, Amen. May your prophecies. So they twisted. So when you, this is what the King James will say. Amen. The Lord do so. The Lord perform your words which you have prophesied. Which Lord? Amen. He said, Amen. May your prophecies come true. I hope the Lord does everything you say. I hope he does bring back. Jeremiah is saying, I got my let the prophecies of Amen come to pass. So Jeremiah was prophesying in the name of Amen. Isaiah had done it. Nahum had done it. Don't forget. What do you call it? Malachi also prophesied in Amen. Moses prophesied in Amen. Who else is left? Amen is the God of the heavens, is the Lord of lords, King of kings. The same God that has been rebranded to become the God of Israel. Because when these people met our ancestors, our fathers, they didn't humble themselves to learn all the truth. They copied a bit and ran with it. But now they cannot mention the name of Amen as their God, because they know the truth will be unveiled when they do so. So they hide behind the shadows of, if you say the name of the Lord, you would perish. If you say the name of the Lord, you will perish. When you go and really research into the origination of the word Yud-Vav-He, they will tell you the Yud-Vav-He is an ancient Canaanite god. It's a god of Canaan. Who were the people living in Canaan? The Akan people were living in Canaan. The original word Kanik, Canaan, Can. The word Canaan. Kani means the spirit people, the spiritual people. That's why all this Lord Baal and all that, these are all gods from Canaan. You understand? When they met our fathers in Canaan, they have no clue what our fathers were talking about. So they only ran away with the name of the god they had, which is the Thursday god Yah. But in real sense, most of the things they are so-called claiming here, the stories they are writing here, is Amen giving the stories. All the way from Genesis through to Revelations. In your very Bible. And I am not going to stop using the Bible today till our brothers and sisters wake up to the truth. Then we can keep it somewhere and deal with real spirituality. When the laws are written in your heart from birth, and you recognize that the laws of nature, of life, of the Creator have always been in your heart, you would always know what to do, and you wouldn't need any book to tell you what the laws are. After all, Jeremiah 33 says, I'll do a new law, I'll write a new covenant in your heart. Where is the covenant going to be written? From whence you were born, you would know the law of righteousness and the law of evil, and you would learn to choose right. That is why when a child is being brought into the world, when a child is being named, they put salt and they put sugar. You say, when you see righteousness, say it's righteous. When you see evil, the laws written on the tables of their heart. These are customs of our fathers. Our fathers knew from childhood the child should be told that when you see evil, say it is evil. When you see righteousness, say it is righteous. Learn the two. These are the laws that governs mankind. These laws are written on the tables of your heart. Everybody is born with the laws written on the table of your heart. You don't need the book to tell you the laws. I love you guys. Stay blessed. Don't forget, tomorrow we'll continue with a powerful health conversation. And then Thursday, the surprise that I couldn't bring your way last week, I'll bring it to you Thursday. And then Friday, Spirit Friday. Bless everybody that just joined our community. Please, if you are new here onto our YouTube page, in the description we have our WhatsApp community. Click the link and you would invite yourself to the WhatsApp community and listen. A lot of things is happening in the WhatsApp community because it is the announcement grounds for our Zoom community. The WhatsApp community is the announcement ground for our Zoom community, our Zoom meetings, which comes off every Sunday, 7 p.m. GMT. Stay blessed. I love you. Bless every single person that supports us to do what we are doing. Mwah.